When you're looking for a new Stratocaster, most of them come set up with their tremolo systems floating. And what this means is that the bridge is actually lifted off the body to a certain degree. While this is fun and exciting to explore these new vibrato sounds, it can be extremely frustrating when you go to change your strings. Let's say you go up or down a gauge and your bridge is now lifting way higher or sitting way lower than it was before, causing your action to be off and even worse, your intonation. So I'd like to share with you a simple method that has worked very well for me over the years on how to adjust your Fender tremolo bridge system so that if your settings do change, you will have the confidence to adjust it yourself. Thanks so much for stopping by. My name is Chris Ellis and welcome to this channel. If you're new here and into guitar related content just as much as I am, don't forget to hit subscribe. Now let's get into it. So first, let's discuss how this actually works. When our guitar is tuned up to pitch, there's a lot of tension being pulled down here and as well up here on the neck. To have a floating tremolo system that's not tightened all the way down, we need to have something to combat the pressure of the strings that are pulling on opposite directions. So with the bridge on top here, we have a set of springs, bridge block here in the back, and a claw for the springs to attach to. This helps to pull the bridge back to combat the opposite tension that the strings are pulling forward on when it's tuned up to pitch. So if you adjust these two screws at the claw, if you tighten them, it's going to pull the springs forward this way, causing the bridge to pull back. And if you loosen them, it's going to give a lot more relief and it's going to make the bridge pull forward. So this is how we're going to adjust on what kind of angle we want for our bridge. So starting out on the top here, on a vintage style Stratocaster, we have 6 screws. And the first thing that comes to everyone's mind is probably these are screws and I have to be tightened down all the way. And that is not the case. This is a very important step that a lot of people make a mistake on in the beginning, myself included. If you notice, when we tighten down every single screw, there's a little lip right here at the beginning of the bridge. If we tighten everything down, it's actually going to want to kink the bridge forward right off the bat, which is not good. So what we want to do is we want to loosen all of the screws and make it so that they look even all the way across. And we're going to just focus on the 2 outside ones. We're going to screw those all the way down until the screw meets the top of the bridge. And then maybe just a little bit extra from there. From there, we'll tighten all the rest of the screws just until they hit the bridge plate. Once they hit the bridge plate, we can back them off about 1/4 of a turn, not much, but make sure that they're even all the way across. To have a really nice, easy, flowy tremolo system, the most important points of contact are going to be these 2 outside screws. That's why a lot of Fenders today only have 2 screws for their tremolo adjustments. So once we have that dialed in, we can go ahead and put on our strings and tune it up to pitch. Depending on how our claw is set from the beginning is going to determine how far the bridge is going to be off. Feel free to loosen this or tighten this if you feel like you want more one way or another. If you want the bridge just fully down on the body, just keep tightening it up. You do not need to go all the way up here, just enough to where that bridge is going to sit nice on the body. But if you want more of your bridge floating, you just back it off. Make sure to do the same amount of turns on each side and don't do too many at once. About 1/2 turn is probably all you need to do at most until you get to where you want to be. So once we have the guitar tuned up to pitch, take a look at your bridge and see where it's sitting. If you still want it to be floating a little bit more, we're going to back those screws out from the back of the cavity here. Remember, just about 1/4 turns each time. See where it sits. Now the struggle that most people have is tuning this thing back up, and they make the mistake of going from the low E all the way down. What happens is when you tune your low E up, it's going to pull the bridge forward. And once this is in tune, as you tune all these other ones up to pitch, it's going to pull the rest of the bridge forward, causing this to go flat. And if you keep doing that, you're just going to keep tuning up and up, and your bridge is actually going to raise a lot more than you probably intended. So the thing you want to make sure that you pay attention to is just focus on your D and G strings. If you make sure that those are always in tune first before anything else, then you should be fine. So what I like to do, and what has worked for me, is I'll tune these two up to pitch, and then I'll go from the outside in. I'll do the low E, then the high E, then the A, and then the B. And then I'll double check these, and these shouldn't be far off. That way you're not putting too much strain on one side of the bridge over the other. You're going right down the middle, pulling it up here, and then everything else should gradually pull up with it. From there, you just keep repeating the steps if you want more of a floating bridge or not. If you want more, you just back out the screws back here just a little bit. We don't need to go 2 turns at all. Just take it slow because things can get out of whack really quickly. Small adjustments, making sure this thing stays in tune is going to be your best friend. So once you have your bridge set where you want it, just double check your tuning and you should be good to go. There's a lot of cool ways you can set this up. You can set it up to where if you pull all the way back, it goes up a full step on the G string, or up a minor third like the Carl Verheyen method, or just a half step if you just want a little bit of pullback play. Something that's also very crucial for this thing to stay in tune is making sure that your nut slots are lubricated and cut properly. Using this kind of system essentially detunes the strings. So if there's any binding at the nut, when you go back up to pitch, your string might get caught in a groove or something in the nut slot that's going to prevent it from going back in tune. So just make sure that your nut slots are cut properly and lubricated, and you should be fine. So I hope that was helpful. Usually I like to have my Strat bridges non-floating, but I had to do a setup this past week and set it up for a floating tremolo system. And I thought that this would be a good opportunity to show you guys on my own guitar. So if you could see here, I have it floating just a little bit. I'd love to hear how you guys set your Strats up and what kind of techniques and tips that you've learned along the way. Thank you so much for watching. Please hit subscribe if you enjoyed this video and would like to see more guitar related content. And I'll see you guys real soon. Thanks.